And so here we have a question. It says a car travels 675.4 miles in 12 and a half hours. Give the rate in miles per hour to the nearest hundredth. Now, the reason students get stuck on this is because they look at these complicated numbers and then they go, oh, I don't even know what to do. Like, do I multiply, divide, what do I divide by, blah, 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 and they get stuck. A really good problem solving technique in maths, in life, is to take the complicated problem, make it a simpler problem, and then use the same procedure. So I want you to give me easier numbers, and we'll go ahead and solve this with easier numbers, and then we'll solve it with complicated numbers. So what easier numbers can you give me? Give me a nice number of miles that is a nice round easy numbers. Thank you. Great. 100. See, it wasn't hard. 100 miles. This is what I try to get students to do, and 100 miles. That's a nice round number. Okay. In how many hours? Nice round easy number. 25 hours. Great. In 25 hours. Great. 100 miles in 25 hours. What we've done is we've made up some nice, easy numbers. Now solve the problem. Now try to solve it and tell me what it means. So, right. Right. So it's 100 miles in 25 hours. And just looking at that, you might think, well, how long did the journey, like what happened then? 100 miles in 25 hours. How fast was the car going? So like every hour they covered how many miles, basically, right? So it by writing that out, it might strike you that we could do this 100 mi for miles over 25 HR for hours. We could just do that, and 100 over 25 gives 4, which is 4 miles per hour, right? 4 miles per hour. Every hour we're traveling 4 miles. So after 25 hours we've traveled 100 miles. Now this is, what speed is that in a car, do you think? 4 miles per hour? No, that would be a very slow car. That is walking, is what that is. Yeah, 4 miles per hour. I mean, a car would travel something like 60 or 50 or 70, right? Right. So this is not a car. This is walking, right? So you could walk 100 miles in 25 hours. Slow walking at that. Okay, so whatever this is, this amount of miles and that amount of hours, we use the same procedure. What did we do with 125? We did what? Yeah. So we go 675.4 miles over 12 and a half. I challenge you to change the 12 and a half to a decimal. 12.5. Good. 12.5 hours we divide. Now we're setting ourselves up for a kind of a bit of a messy division here. This will be okay, 12.5 into 675.4 is a messy division. It's easier on our calculator, obviously, but we're going to challenge you to do this by hand. By golly, this is some arithmetic workout here, right? So we're going to move to divide by decimals. We move this to the right, but we also must move this to the right as well to get 125 into 675.4, not 0.4. I just moved that over. 6754. So 125 into 6 won't go. Into 67 it won't go. How many times does it go into 675? Like, in your head, think 100 goes into 600 how many times? 6 times. But this is 125. That's 675. I'm going to guess 5. Yeah, just a little bit less. So if you guess 6, that's fine, but you're going to be a little over it, just so you know. But in any case, so 5 times 5, 25, carry 2. 5 times 2, 10, and 2 is 12, carry 1. 5 times 1 is 5, and 1 is 6. And now subtract. 675 minus 625. 50, yep. And we must bring down 4. So 125 into 504. 125 into 500 would be 100. Yeah, be four times would be a good guess, yeah. So 4 times that, 10, carry 1. 4 times 2 is 8 and 1 is 9. I'm doing something wrong. 4 times 10 is... 5 times 5 is 20. Put down 0, carry 2. I made a mistake there, yeah. 4 times 2 is 8 and 2 is 10. Put down 0, carry 1. 4 times 1 is 4 and 1 is 5. Yeah, so 4 times 125 should be 500. Subtract, you get 4. And now you're going to have to go decimal point, bunch of zeros, and keep going. Bring this 0 down. That's 40. 125 into 40 goes how many times? 0. 0 times 125 is 0. Subtract and we get 40. And we've got to bring down this 0. So it's 400. Yep. And that into that gives what? See. Grab some paper here. So that into that, yeah, we could guess 3 be a good guess. 3 times 5, 25, carry 2. 3 times 2 is 6 and... Oh, sorry, 3 times 5 is 15. Carry 1. 3 times 2 is 6 and 1 is 7. 3 times 1 is 3. And now subtract. And subtract 25. Now bring this 0 down. And we have to round to the nearest hundredth. Remember that? We have to round to the nearest hundredth. And so we have to actually get to the nearest thousandth. We've got units, tens, units, tenths, hundredths. We need one more slot, and then we can round. But in any case, 125 into 250. 2 times. And 2 times 5 is 10, carry 1. Yeah, 2 times 4, 2 is 4 and 1 is 5, and 2 times 1 is 2. 250 exactly. Subtract, and we get 0. Yeah. Right, so we need to round to the nearest hundredth. And so that's this spot here. And after that gets a 2. So this rounds to 54.03 miles per hour. 54.03 miles per hour. Yep. How's it going?